runner, I was fairly active, and so it was something that it's like, okay, well this is annoying, I'll just keep pushing forward. Finally got to a point where I'm like, I can't push forward anymore, let's go to the doctor. Went there and said, okay, you're 35, it's a little bit of arthritis, just give it some rest, lots of ice. Fast forward about 6 months, wasn't getting any better. At that point, I was experiencing a lot of fatigue, a lot of pain in that leg. I wasn't able to do any kind of physical activity, so went for another opinion. And within about 5 minutes of that appointment and the doctor feeling around behind my knee, it felt like there was a Super Ball back there. He said, what are you doing this afternoon? And I said, probably getting an MRI. And he said, let me make a call. So that was my afternoon at 5:30, and by 9 o'clock he called and said, well, we know it's not a cyst, the way that the first doctor said, but we don't know what it is, and I'd like you to see an orthopedic oncologist. And didn't say the scary C word at that point, but at the moment you hear oncologist, you're like, okay, this got really real. And from there, it was about 30 days of diagnostics, getting a final diagnosis that it was cancer, and because of the aggressive nature of the tumor, that I would need to have the leg amputated. So from there, another 20 days to my surgery. So went from, as we all do, kind of life takes you down one path and then you get rerouted, but it's a serious one when all of a sudden your life that you thought and the plans that you thought were just kind of get stopped in your tracks. And to not only be digesting that, okay, I'm 35, I've got to deal with now the big scary cancer word, but now also living with a pretty major disability. It's not easy. I wouldn't ever say there's a day that goes by that I don't think about either one. I mean, dragging around a 10-pound, although amazing technology, it's a definite, slows me down and a constant reminder. But I think, with that, you get to make choices, and we all make choices as we're going along, and no matter what, there's always a pothole or a speed bump or something. I can't help but say there's a lot of potholes in New Jersey. But it's better than when I got here. So sorry, I know that's not nice, but it was funny when I first got here, and it was 78, that driving down and was like, that one's gonna eat my car, and that one's gonna eat my car. Anyway, sorry. So you're faced with that, and there's that point of saying, I know I've heard a lot of people like, I don't know that I could ever do this, I don't think I'd be strong enough. And when you're there, you just are. And at the same time, though, you do have to make decisions, and sometimes it's 50 times in an hour to look at the bright side, or find a positive, or tell yourself you're going to get through it. And I think that was just a decision I made early on, and you're kind of looking at, if I go this way, it's a really dark tunnel, and it'll just keep going, or I'm going to go the other way and keep pushing forward. And for me, it was just kind of a little talk I had with myself, and I was like, well, it's not going to be easy either way, but it's a whole lot more fun to be positive and smile, and that was how I pushed through, and that would be kind of the same thing I would tell someone. It's just, everything that you do, even a hard thing, there's gifts that come with it, and a lot of times you don't get to see those gifts at the time. I mean, there's times that just you're in a giant snowstorm and have things hitting you, but there's a light at the end of all of those tunnels, and that would be my advice, is just to keep pushing forward. And if it's a rough day, know that tomorrow will come, the sun will come out, and it'll be, hopefully a little bit better day. And, for me, it's a weird thing to say that the gifts that I've received from this journey and from being diagnosed with cancer and going through this have been enormous. And, I wouldn't wish this on my greatest enemy, but I still am so thankful. I mean, I wouldn't be standing here with you amazing people and getting to do the things that I'm doing with my riding It's given me a huge perspective, and just to, you know, think of what makes you tick, think of the things that you're passionate about, and, you know, make time for them now, because you don't always know. And it's, you know, for me it's cancer, but, you know, there's other things in life that can do the same. You know, it's also that perspective that brought me to a lot different lifestyle, and that's something that Cheryl and I have talked a lot about. And I've been pretty health conscious my entire life, and I think that I've tried to eat well, and that has been something that has evolved over time. Definitely with getting diagnosed, your brain kind of goes on overload, is trying to find out, you know, why did this happen? You know, we'll never know exactly why it is, but I feel like there's a lot of environmental causes that for sure aren't good for any of us to be exposed to, and so you just learn more and educate yourself more. And I had a friend that gave me, as just a little care package and a gift, some of the Young Living essential oils 3 years ago, and said, you know, I saw these, a friend of hers was introducing her to him, and she's like, I just wanted you to have these. And so that was in learning about all of the chemicals that we use to clean our house, and that we, you know, freshen our air with, and all of those things. You know, she introduced me to thieves, and so, you know, when I walked into my apartment at Cheryl's and there was thieves sitting there, I was like, I love this. I mean, part of being on the road and traveling, it is a whole nother challenge to, you know, eat clean and stay with, you know, as much organic food as you can, and stay away from products when you're not at home and you have your little bubble. So that was really, really fun. And the lavender is an all-time favorite for me as well. And sacred frankincense as well. That was one that Lindsay especially gave me and told me about, just from its healing abilities and that. So I would put that on and refill as needed. So it's been, I don't know, I think I've heard a lot of times things just find you when you're ready for them, and when you need them. And it's definitely been a neat part of, for me, this learning experience that's always